What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday. Feeling like a Tuesday, though, as this short week continues. Titans on the practice field later on today with the media out there. I'll be there at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park for another voluntary OTA practice to see Brian Callahan, this new staff, and these new players on the field again before next week's mandatory minicamp of 3 days of action for the Titans on the practice field. So a lot of content coming over the next 10 days or less. I guess probably about 8-9 days from these practice days coming up over the next 9 days. But we're going to spend some time discussing today two key words that will allow Brian Callahan to unlock Will Levis's potential as Titans quarterback. And this is coming from the SI article from Albert Breer, who spent some time in the film room at the Titans facility with head coach Brian Callahan and with second-year quarterback Will Levis. A lot of really, really good things coming from that film session and that article from SI.com. Jack, welcome in. We're going to discuss these two key words and talk about what Will Levis could stack up against with a new crop of young quarterbacks. And there's a lot of things in between there before we wrap up this Wednesday show with sports trivia like we do every Wednesday. We're going to try to do another rapid round of trivia because that created some mistakes. But overall, I feel like maybe we should do it again.
Yeah, we need to fine tune it a little bit, but I'm not giving up on the rapid round, okay? But look, happy hump day to everybody who's in here right now. I see a bunch of y'all still filing in. While you guys are coming on in, let's go ahead and like the show. If you guys can throw us a like on Facebook and YouTube, that helps us grow. That helps us grow our audience. It's all great for the show. If you're watching on Facebook, share the show to your Titans Facebook groups. Sharing is caring. We want to bring in everybody from all of the different Titans Facebook groups out there because there's so many. Let's bring them on in here. Let's talk a little Titans this morning. Next, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to tap that bell icon at the top of your screen to turn those notifications on. Another big day for Titans media out at the facility. We're going to get some video. We're going to get some quotes. It's going to be a fun day. Don't miss out on any of it. Turn those notifications on if you're watching on YouTube. Finally, if you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch link around to your Titans text groups. Let's bring all your buddies in here. Let's kill an hour at work. Let's kill an hour if you're getting ready for work. Talking Titans. You're not going to be able to turn on the TV and get it. So come on, bring them all in here. Let's talk Titans. And Austin, let's get the show on the road.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Jack Gentry of the Tighten Up Podcast, and we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. Like Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process by seeing them in Lebanon or online, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, and you can do that by using our link and getting a quote today at fbhp.com/ATOZ. So, Jack, unpacking a lot of the really good content from Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated when it comes to the Will Levis conversation that was had yesterday. I do want to give a shout out. Just Smash has just finished the Tighten Up Pod, Jack. It's a spicy one. I mean, the podcast is only like 8 hours old. And a lot of those hours are sleeping hours for the majority of the world. So Just Smash finishing the Tighten Up Podcast already by the time we got going this Wednesday morning it's a big deal right there. That's pretty quick.
Yeah, that's a loyal tupper. Guys, be like Just Smash. Go listen to the Tighten Up Podcast. It's out now. It is spicy, like Just Smash says. We get into some topics that haven't really been able to be discussed on local airwaves. So it's a fresh conversation. It's a funny conversation. And Ran Carthon, big week for Ran Carthon. We say this all the time, dude. But every time he gets behind a microphone, I just love him even more. He is the most charismatic dude in the world. And when he kind of lets Titans fans take a look behind the curtain into firing Mike Vrabel, into hiring Brian Callahan, into his background in general. Those are all really fun and unique conversations we get to chime in on over the Tighten Up Podcast. So go listen this morning. Go listen after the show. It's a good episode. I think you guys will like it.
Yep. And so we will be out there. I will be out there at St. Thomas Sports Park after today's show. I believe content will start flowing on your social media timelines, whatever social media app you choose, whichever chat app you choose. That'll be around like 12:45 is when practice wraps up, and we'll be able to throw content out there from a video standpoint. So get your YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, everything. We'll have it right there for you guys. But all right, so let's go ahead and get into this.
Real quick, Jeff says where for the podcast? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, A to Z Sports Podcast Network is what you type in. You'll be able to find the Tighten Up podcast, the Big Orange podcast, everything A to Z Sports has podcast-wise over on that side of things.
Yes. All right. So, look, I see Daniel's asking, who would you be more happy to see out there, Snead, Sweat, or NPF? I mean, probably NPF. I don't know. It's not really about getting L'Jarius Snead out there in May, but yes, Sweat and NPF is probably where I would answer that question. All right, on to the Will Levis conversation, because Albert Breer sat down with Brian Callahan and Will Levis for SI.com in the film room, and they discussed a lot of different things. But one thing that really caught my eye that we'll get into here was how Brian Callahan is making Will Levis feel as far as his comfort level and what they're doing so far in this new system. And so there's going to be a lot of words I'm going to put on the screen, but I think they're all valuable because there's comments from Albert Breer, comments from Brian Callahan, and from Will Levis from this article on SI.com. So bear with me here as we get through this. Talking about the relationship between Callahan and Levis, the first stage is showing players everything that's available to them. From there, it's going over things a second time during OTAs, a third time in training camp to figure out what's best for the group and the quarterback. That way, when the season starts, game plans seem like light lifting. And that'd be much more difficult to pull off if Levis was in some faux competition for the job as Callahan saw it coming in. That's one big reason why establishing the guy he saw as clearly the best option and most important position made sense, which again worked to unwind any tension Levis had and strengthen their trust. I highlight the word trust. And then this is a quote from Brian Callahan that I think really is impressive. Quote, "I think you do a disservice to guys, particularly if you're drafting them and you make them compete for a job. Guys need to play," Callahan says. "They need to be put in a position where they are the quarterback. There's something about that matters to a team in a locker room. If you're going to do it, do it. It all sounds good. He should sit. That's not the reality. That's not how the financial reality of the NFL is either. You're trying to take advantage of a young quarterback on a rookie contract. That's the other part of it." And Callahan continues, "There's something about being a quarterback and knowing when you walk in the building and walk onto the field, you know you're the quarterback, and you know everyone around you knows you're the quarterback. It allows you some freedom, especially when you're a young player. There's no growth unless you make mistakes." So there's some comments from Breer and Callahan. Now the comment from Will Levis. "It's the first time in my career where I felt comfortable going to a coach and suggesting something because I feel like I'm comfortable enough with the offense to where I know the machinations of it," Levis says. "That's been cool for me to be able to speak my mind. And even if they say no, I know at least I tried and we talked about it." And Breer continues, "That effectively means that Callahan's intent to accelerate Levis's development by getting him to trust his coaches and to make and learn from mistakes is being carried out." So, Jack, there you saw two words I highlighted, and you saw them: trust and comfortable. So they were in there twice. So what are your thoughts on those two words, trust and comfort, within the context of that quote there, those quotes there from SI.com?
Yeah, obviously those two things are huge for any young quarterback in this league. To have a coaching staff who trusts you, and then you also trusting your weapons, trusting your protection. That's kind of where the comfortable thing comes into play as well. Make everything comfortable for him. You don't make him feel like he has to push too hard. Or I think it's a really interesting philosophy Callahan has on why you should name your starting quarterback early if you take one high in the draft. And, he brings up the part about if your young quarterback's in a, competition for the starting job, then he may not want to make the same mistakes that he might if he's comfortable with his spot on the roster, comfortable with the fact that he's a starting quarterback. And so some of these tight throws that he might try and make in practice, he becomes a little gun shy for. I think that that's a really unique perspective, and I don't know if I've heard that before from a head coach. I like it. And then you hear him talk about the financial side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Callahan understands what's at stake when you have a rookie contract or a quarterback on a rookie contract. So all these things are just music to my ears, and they make me think a little bit differently. But absolutely, trust and comfort are two of the major things that Will Levis is going to need to figure out, or at least need to have instilled in him for this 2024 season if he wants to take that sophomore leap.
Yeah, and so I think a couple comments I saw from Bork. Bork saying unintentional dig at Vrabel within all of that. And then Bork came back and said, I like how Callahan isn't afraid to say the quiet part out loud. And it feels like Brian Callahan is insanely transparent. And let's see how that's going to work for him. We've been used to a coach in Nashville that's been coaching the Tennessee Titans for 6 seasons and not being transparent. I'm not going to answer any questions about Traylon Burks' potential asthma. You'll have to go out ask Traylon about it while not making Traylon Burks available to the media for 2 months and not knowing if he's out of shape or has asthma, right? And when it could just be, I think Brian Callahan would have simply said, Traylon Burks has asthma. Trey's got asthma. He's going to deal with it. We're going to work through it and be fine. And it would have been over. Right. And so we'll see how this plays out for Brian Callahan, because sometimes being transparent is good. Sometimes it's not, because the media, we remember things. We remember the words that you say, and we will use those against you at times if things don't go exactly how they should or go the way they are planned. So I do think all of this is interesting. Playing, making mistakes, living through it is good. But I do feel like Will Levis has the opportunity to truly take the offense by the horns, because it's the confidence that the entire organization has put into him, and they have not been shy about it.
Mm-hmm.
There were several videos and comments we've played, whether it's Rand Carthon or Brian Callahan on whatever podcast or radio or live event you want to talk about. It's confirming, we spent a bunch of damn money in free agency because we believe in Will Levis. Will Levis is making $9 million total over a 4-year span. So how about spending a bunch of money on guys that are going to make his life easier and making his life easier with how they've invested in the coaching staff? I think it says a lot about how they feel with Will Levis moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard not to feel a little bit confident in yourself, start feeling yourself a little bit when they go out and bring you guys like Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, Tony Pollard, Lloyd Cushenberry, J.C. Latham, you name it, Brian Callahan even. The front office, the Titans brass, saw enough in Will Levis to go out and say, you know what, I want an offensive-minded head coach to come and get the most out of Will Levis. And another thing that I really like about this is Brian Callahan mentions how when you draft a quarterback, you kind of let him sit or you pull back the reins on him. That's going to stun his growth. And there's going to be teams around the league that do that this year with their rookie quarterback. Denver might do it with Bo Nix. Minnesota could start Sam Darnold over J.J. McCarthy for the first few weeks of the season. What good does that do? I mean, throw those guys out there week 1. Start letting them build confidence, building a rapport with these wide receivers. That way, later in the season, when you're trying to make a push for a playoff spot, they've got enough experience under their belt to feel comfortable in late game situations.
I do think there's a big difference here, because I want to go into that a little bit before we get to our main topic about rookie quarterbacks and playing rookie quarterbacks and what else that Brian Callahan said that really opened my eyes. I was like, oh my God, he said that. So I want to get into that a little bit, but you just mentioned Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, and this topic of Will Levis on sitting rookie quarterbacks. I want to go into those 3 examples, the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Titans. And we'll do that here in a second. But first, let me tell you guys all about my friends at the Bone and Joint Institute. Why I say my friends? Because I'm going to start seeing these guys a lot more often, because I'm doing my physical therapy at the Brentwood Rehab location for my knee tendonitis. It's helping out my patella tendonitis. I was in there on Friday. I'm going back again this Friday. Then I got a couple things scheduled next week, trying to get this tendon to chill out so I can get back to exercising the way I want. So I don't have to worry about not doing certain things in the gym or getting up off the ground or the couch a certain way and protecting my patella tendon because it's a little bit on fire right now. But already after one rehab process for me, I'm learning about how I can stabilize, work on eccentric motion to get more strength into some things around and muscle groups around that tendonitis to help it chill out, calm down, so I can live my life the way I want to and run as fast as I want to, squat and lift like I want to before this flared up this spring. So the Bone and Joint Institute can do that for me. They can do that for you as well. The region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care whenever an injury happens in life, that's where you need to turn to because they've got their main campus in Franklin, right off of I-65 on Highway 96, and they've got several clinics and rehab facilities across Williamson County and growing, including Brentwood, Nolensville, Moore Franklin, Spring Hill, Thompson Station, and more. So check them out online at boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM.com, the king of sportsbooks, guys. There's a ton of stuff to get in on. So new users, if you're looking to change up your luck, switch sportsbooks. If you're looking to just get in the game in general, do it with BetMGM. Sign up with bonus code A to Z Sports and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. Stars Oilers tonight. College baseball, the tournament kicks off here on Friday. Tons of stuff to get in on. Do it with BetMGM and do it with our bonus code ATOZ Sports to cash in on an offer. Up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses, only at BetMGM.
All right, so Jack, we brought up the comment from Brian Callahan. I'll show it up here on the screen again. I'm focusing on the middle paragraph here, the top quote in the middle. I think you do it a service to guys, particularly if you're drafting them and you make them compete for a job. Guys need to play. They need to be put in a position where they are the quarterback. There's something about that matters to a team, a locker room. If you're going to do it, it all sounds good. He should sit. That's not the reality. That's not the financial reality of the NFL either. You're going to take advantage of a young quarterback on a rookie contract. That's the other part of it. So Brian Callahan's not wrong, but I do think there are different situations that call for different results and different decisions. Will Levis was correct to sit last year until it was no longer correct for him to sit because Ryan Tannehill last year of his contract, Derrick Henry last year in his contract, you just signed DeAndre Hopkins. You're trying to go for it one more time, right? Like I think it was justified to go for it one more time because of the contract setup, the players you had, and the opportunity that could have been there. It didn't go to plan, and that sucked for a lot of people last year. And Derrick Henry goes out the door, and he's on to Baltimore, and you hurt that, and you hate Ryan Tannehill, or a lot of you guys do, whether it's warranted or not. The offensive line sucked ass again, and so there you are. And then you put in Will Levis to give yourself some hope and to see what he has in you that allows you to go spend $200+ million in free agency because you saw Will Levis for 9 games. I think that was the correct way to handle 2023 for the Tennessee Titans. Now, I think if I'm the Broncos and the Vikings, there's no way in hell, there's no reason to not play Bo Nix and to not play J.J. McCarthy out of the gates. Because what are the Vikings and Broncos' expectations, right? Like, who are their starting quarterback? You believe Sam Darnold? Who the hell is the other quarterback in Denver? Is it
Jarrett Stidham, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say former Auburn Tiger letdown Jarrett Stidham, who lost to Jeremy Pruitt and Jarrett Garantano on the Plains. Like, what? There's no point to playing Jarrett Stidham. There's no point to playing Sam Darnold. Play McCarthy in Minnesota and play Bo Nix in Denver. Like, figure it the hell out. So, but it was correct to sit Will Levis last year.
Yeah, and, he picked up that little injury in training camp, too, right before the season where he, kind of essentially had to forfeit the backup job early in the season to Malik Willis and, come in, I guess start as the number 3 on the roster before he eventually moved up to the starter due to injuries and due to
Zach Wilson
outperforming.
is also in Denver.
Oh, that's right. Zach Wilson is in Denver. But no, you're totally right. I mean, like, from a Minnesota standpoint, they probably want to do everything in their power to keep Justin Jefferson happy. And for Minnesota, they might think that, giving him Sam Darnold, a guy who's got a whole lot more experience. Now, it's been up and down for Sam Darnold his whole career, rather than just throwing J.J. McCarthy straight into the fire. But, if you take a quarterback that high in the draft, you can't be scared to throw him out there. C.J. Stroud last year started from week 1, balled out. I mean, there's guys that do it every single season. There's always a rookie quarterback that comes in and sets the world on fire from week 1 all the way through the end of the year. And just starting a journeyman veteran backup for 4 weeks, what does that get you? Especially, like you said, if you're not trying to, if you're not in the last year of major contracts, if you're not trying to win a division, if you're not trying to make that final push at the back end of your window, what the hell's the point of letting your rookie quarterback, the future of your franchise, sit for figure out your answer on your guy as soon as you possibly can. That way you can move off of him as soon as you possibly can if it doesn't work out, or what you need to add around him next season to maximize your team while that quarterback's on a rookie contract. All these things are so important. And Brian Callahan's on top of it. He's ahead of the curve here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll find out, obviously, how that plays. But, Jack, let's get to the main question here that we're going to ask, because Brian Callahan said something to Albert Breer that Breer wrote down in this article on SI that I was like wide-eyed. I was like big wide-eyed. So we'll get to that here. And this is the comment. So from Breer, as Carthon, Brinker, and Callahan and the coaches and scouts dove into their draft prep, it only reinforced what the coach said to the GM in their interview about Levis. Callahan says, "I told Rand the truth. I said he has real talent, real ability, and I think he's got he got a chance to be a very good starting quarterback in the NFL. He's got enough tools where his ceiling is high. If he's all the things mentally you need to play quarterback, his physical talent, it's a high ceiling. He's got a chance to be a really, really good top-end starting quarterback, and I believe that. The scouts still do their due diligence and put grades on guys and all that. I had the conversation with Rand. Part of it was like, if Will's coming out in this draft class, I don't know that I feel anybody's better than him at this point." And I was like, holy bleep. If Will Levis is coming out in this draft class, where does he rank? Where does he stack up to the other guys? Because quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, and then quarterbacks went what? 8,
12,
8, 10, and 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 8, 10, 12 is what they did. Will Levis went 33. So 1, 2, 3, 8, 10, 12. So let's ask this question, because I think that is a bold statement from Brian Callahan. So the question, where would you rank Will Levis within this 2024 NFL draft class? Because clearly Brian Callahan has him pretty dang high. So where would you rank Will Levis in this 2024 NFL draft class? We'll get to your comments here in a second, but first, Farm Bureau Health Plans. You rank them very high when it comes to helping you with your health coverage. And that's where Farm Bureau Health Plans has done this for over 77 years in the state of Tennessee to make sure that all Tennesseans have the best options for health coverage across the board, whether it's vision, dental, health overall. They can make it happen for you with Farm Bureau Health Plans and using our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ. Zach signed up. My parents signed up with Farm Bureau Health Plans as their coverage policies had to change in their life stage, and they saved them a ridiculous amount of money. I'm not even going to say it on the air of what my parents were able to save, because it's insane. Because Farm Bureau Health Plans took their situation into account and specifically used it to help them and not have to put them in a box as a pigeonholed couple approaching their 60s, right? So check them out online and use our link to get a quote at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
BetMGM.com, the king of sportsbooks, tons of stuff to get in on the game with. And, you got to do it with our bonus code A to Z Sports. New users, sign up, switch over to BetMGM if you're on a sportsbook right now that may not have the selection you're looking for. BetMGM's got that. They've got boosted odds specials, live betting options, And it's so easy to navigate for new users. If you're ever feeling lost in your sports book, come over to BetMGM, use our bonus code A to Z Sports when you sign up, and you'll get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. A lot of stuff going on right now. Don't miss out with BetMGM and our bonus code ATOZ Sports.
Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only new customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification, eligible requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued at knowledgeable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. And for a problem gambling support, call Tennessee Brown Line 800-889-9789. Okay, Jack. So I'm going to send you to the chat. We're asking the question, where would Will Levis rank in the 2024 NFL draft class? Brian Callahan said at the bottom of this graphic, if Will's coming out in this class, I don't know that I'd feel like anybody is better than him at this point. So where would Levis stack up in this draft class of quarterbacks? We need more likes on the show too. So hit that like button because quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3, 8, 10, 12 in the draft. And Levis went 33rd a year ago.
Lou Man's going to kick us off on YouTube. He thinks Levis would go 4th in this year's class. Curtis C says top 8. He says 7th. Now the 7th quarterback in this draft was Spencer Rattler, who was taken in the 4th round by the New Orleans Saints. So that is not saying much about Will Levis. So Curtis may not be high on him. IR and Cos66 say 2nd. Darius is also in 2nd. Titans Kyle says probably 3rd behind Williams and Daniels. I have number 1, but I'm biased, says Corey. Okay, at least he'll admit it. Daniel says 4th. Denise believes Levis goes number 1. So she's on Albert Breer's side of this.
Brian Callahan.
Brian Callahan, excuse me. Randy says 6. Darren Lee says 2nd. 2 from Maven, 3 from Guy Man, 2 from Cameron. Number 1 from Tall Texan. Leadership. Look at Williams. Lack of it at USC. Look, Williams went number 1 overall, won 7 games. And he played in the Pac-12. But he does have a Heisman. Rooney says
but I also think like USC's defense is like as soft as it could possibly. It's like not even the stick butter. It's like spreadable butter you get out of a tub.
And they fired their DC mid-season. Let's see. Just Smash says May, Levis, Williams. I don't believe in Williams. Okay. Top 4 from Kendall D. Willie says 8th. Good Lord. Dre and Ann say 2nd. 5th from Michael. 2 or 3 from Will. 3 from Sir Esther's. Dre thinks Will Levis goes number 1, so he's on Callahan's side. Steve Jones says 2nd. Najee, Dylan, top tier, all agree. Jetstream says 1. I'm saying 3, Austin. I think that 3, and I love Will Levis, by the way. I'm all aboard the Will Levis train. But I'm just saying, a lot of like accolades matter and stats matter in college, right? Sure, the tape is all important, but Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels both have a Heisman to their names. Will Levis never really came close to pushing for that. And, look, he showed flashes last season, absolutely. 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, a little inaccurate at times. I think that just when you look at the ceilings of Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, you could argue that they might have a higher ceiling than Will Levis does. But man, Will Levis has that big arm. He's fearless. He's just a little, sometimes when he tucks it and runs, you get a little nervous as a Titans fan. I think 3 is appropriate here for Will Levis. But I love that Brian Callahan says number 1. What else should Brian Callahan say, But if the draft, if you threw Will Levis into this draft class, I think he'd get drafted ahead of Drake May, but behind Jaden Daniels.
Okay, so where did you have Levis in the class he was drafted with? Bryce Young went number 1, CJ Stroud went number 2, Anthony Richardson went 4 to the Colts, and then Levis dropped all the way to 33, as we know, famously with the Titans. So where did you have Levis pre-draft going into that class?
Yeah, I think I had him 3rd. Anthony Richardson hadn't done enough for me. I know he blew the combine out of the water, but I just wasn't sold on IR 15. I love Will Levis. I told you we had the draft show. I think I was maybe the only one. Sam was probably on board with me about wanting.
Sam was very much on board. I was anti. I was anti Will Levis.
Yeah, and I mean, Jeff says ahead of May, Jack smoking crack again. What did Drake May show you in college that Will Levis didn't? I mean, seriously. And Will Levis played his senior year with turf toe, so that hurt his stock coming out. but like a fully healthy Will Levis, the guy that we saw at times last year, the guy we saw beat Miami on the road, the guy we saw throw 4 touchdowns in his NFL debut against Atlanta in those Oilers unis. I mean, that's a guy that goes third in this draft class, in my opinion.
So I'm also not a Drake May person. I also did have Will Levis ahead of Anthony Richardson last year. Drake May, I think, and Will Levis actually have some comparable situations because they were in a non-football blue blood school, more of a basketball school that had to kind of had some flash in college where they put up some numbers, had some big wins, but they kind of left you wanting more from a take that program to the next level standpoint. And Drake May, for me, I think gets sacked too often. He is responsible for too many of those sacks, more than any college quarterback since Sam Howell, who also came out of North Carolina a few years before that. So Drake May, I am not sold on Drake May at all, really. I think for me to answer this question, I would have had Will Levis third as well. And I'm still questioning J.J. McCarthy. I question Michael Penix. Michael Penix Jr. went 8th. A shocker, right? Like nobody expected him to be the 4th guy. He was probably going to be the 5th or the 6th. But, Michael Penix Jr., can he stay healthy for an NFL career? He's a lefty. I'm a lefty, so I don't believe that there's anti-left-handed quarterback slander in the NFL. But I just don't know what to think of Michael Penix Jr. And then Bo Nix, I think that offense at Oregon is too advantageous for a quarterback to throw into open situations. And so I'm not really high on Bo Nix. I watched him kind of flame out at Auburn. I get the pressure stuff there from that situation, but I would have had Levis third there.
Yeah, and like back to the Drake May thing too. I just felt like this year, what everybody was waiting for Drake May to take that step. Like he was one of the Heisman favorites, and he didn't really, wow many people with his play. And he had Tez Walker to throw to. Like that's also an advantageous system to play in North Carolina, right? They're always putting up huge numbers on offense over there. So I just was a little disappointed with Drake May. I'm not as confident in Drake May as I would be with Will Levis. At the NFL level, I think that, you can scheme some things around in the college game that make life easy on Drake May and easy on some of these other quarterbacks. But I do think that Will Levis has some of that. I'll take over the game in the fourth quarter when, the game hangs in the balance. Like he feels like a guy who's built for the big moments. And I'm not so sure that I saw that with Drake May in college. I know he put up better numbers than Levis did, but just after 1 year in the NFL, after 9 games in the NFL for Levis, I just feel like he's built for the big stage. And I don't know if I have that feeling about Drake May.
Yeah. And so, Drake May, I question for sure. I want to get to another comment too. Hello Lady says Levis was a backup at Penn State. Like, I don't care. Like, why does that matter? Like, you know how much that matters? Joe Burrow was a backup in 3rd string at Ohio State. Does that matter at all?
Yeah. You want Sean Clifford to start for your NFL team? I mean, the Packers don't think he's a starter.
I think that, but James Franklin is to blame there. Like, that's not James Franklin is not exactly the best quarterback chooser.
He's one of the worst. He's truly one of the worst, and we're gonna all see it again this year with Drew Aller. But I mean, when has James Franklin put out an NFL worthy quarterback?
He hasn't. He ruined. Remember the name Christian Hackenberg? That guy was supposed to be the next Andrew Luck, and Christian Hackenberg was nothing after James Franklin got there, and he hasn't. Trace McSorley. Remember that guy? He's probably still in the Arizona Cardinals practice squad. It's
he's not really a judge of character when it comes to quarterback.
And again, somebody brought up Caleb Williams was a backup to Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. Yeah, that happened, and then Spencer Rattler transferred because Caleb Williams didn't win that job. Joe Burrow was the 3rd string guy there. How about Justin Fields? Justin Fields sat behind Jake Fromm and Jacob Eason at Georgia and left and would go to Ohio State. It's just different with quarterbacks these days. It's not the same. Are you going to hate Arch Manning because he was behind Quinn Ewers for 2 years? That's stupid too. Like,
Mhm.
you should not care about that. You should not. It's not, doesn't make any damn sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, so many things change in 2 years at the college level that we have to use a little context when we, factor in some of these takes, and I think that you could argue Will Levis maybe had a better college career than Sean Clifford. I mean, watching Sean Clifford play in college was like anybody who ever bet on a Penn State game, you wanted to pull your hair out every time
Unders.
he had to make a
Just
big throw.
unders.
Yeah, like third downs, fourth quarter, Sean Clifford has the ball. God knows who's going to end up with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gosh, I just don't think you should like worry about the whole. How about Jalen Hurts got benched for Tua, and now he's got millions, like hundreds and millions of dollars. Like, I mean, who gives a damn? It does
Mhm.
not matter where they started or how they backed up somebody else and couldn't beat out somebody that didn't do much of anything. Like, I just think that's so silly. That's like Peyton Manning didn't start out of the gates as a freshman at Tennessee. An injury put him on the field. So it's not even like new age. Like, this is like how it works in college football. Older
Yeah.
players start ahead of younger players. 21-year-olds are very different physically and mentally than 18-year-olds. I should not be breaking news to anybody about this.
Even your boy Nico sat behind Joe Milton. So I mean,
Yeah, I
there's
pulled my
countless
hair out
examples.
watching Joe Milton and wanting to see Nico way more, but that's not how the cookie crumbled. And I
Yeah,
feel like the Vols were hiding Nico because it felt like, just to dive into that for a second, because it was really grinding my gears all season. Every opportunity that Tennessee played against a bottom feeder or a team they could blow out, it felt like they just didn't do enough on purpose to pull away to put Nico in. It was like, nope, we're just going to keep this interesting enough to keep Joe in there to save Nico's red shirt for some damn reason.
yeah, I remember that happened at the Vandy game. But
Yes.
either way, like Tom Brady is an NFL example. He sat behind Drew Bledsoe. It's you judge what they do on tape. You judge what they do when they get to play. You don't judge them based on no stats, no film, while they're sitting behind somebody who's either older or is viewed as better than them. I mean, you have to. It's not an apples to apples comparison. There's no real data to put against the guy who's in front of him or the guy who's whatever. It's a silly argument to make that Will Levis can't be good or can't be better than some of these guys that were just drafted because he once upon a time sat behind Sean Clifford at Penn State. It's just not correlated.
All right, transition here. King VC says, unlock the like button, like the show. So jump in here. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, please hit that like button for us. Struggle a little bit as we get deeper and deeper into May and closer to June. June is on Saturday, by the way, which is wild. But make sure you hit that like button for us. That goes a long way. So please do that. Our guy Shrike on YouTube says, Levis didn't even go top 3 last year, and this year's crop was the year for quarterbacks. He's 4th best in the 2024 class. So I'm guessing Shrike has Drake May ahead of Levis, who went 3rd overall, and Levis went 33rd overall. I think here's the kind of a bummer situation for Will Levis, because we can argue all day long whether you like Drake May or Will Levis as an NFL quarterback prospect, more or less. But Will Levis was, unfortunately, came out of college in the wrong quarterback draft in the NFL, because after the Titans didn't take Levis at 11, there was a gap of teams that did not need a quarterback. After Anthony Richardson went 4th to the Colts, the Titans were the next team at 11 who had a potential need at quarterback. And you could argue the Titans maybe didn't have a need at quarterback because Tannehill was still under contract. So I think that's where, if Levis was in this class, would he have gone 8 to the Falcons? Would he have gone 10, or that Vikings pick 10, 11 where they traded up, and the Broncos at 12? Because there were so many, and the Raiders at 13. Like, let's say Levis was in this class. Would the Raiders have picked the 7th quarterback at 13? Whether it's Levis at 7 or Levis at 4 that slid the other guys back a notch. Like, I think that's where Will Levis, there's a big difference in money from the 13th pick to the 33rd pick. That 20 pick difference is a lot of money that Will Levis missed out on. It was just happened to be where only 4 teams needed a quarterback in the 2023 class, and the Titans got him in the second round instead of the top 11.
I love this comment from Bork. He says in 2024, Levis versus JJ McCarthy would have been a hot topic. And I totally agree. 2 live arms, but the difference is one was forced to do everything in college. The other was forced to game manage and just keep the football, right?
Yeah.
He never had to make the big game-winning throws. In the big moments, he did step up, obviously. I'm not discrediting JJ McCarthy's college career. But I think that would have absolutely been a debate where you hear one report one day where Levis is over JJ, and then another day comes and JJ's now got the lead over Levis, depending on who the scouts are talking to. I agree with Bork. That would have been an absolute hot topic had they come out in the same year.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff, he's an Ohio State guy and a Colts guy. So you had to have him pick between Michigan and the Titans here. But Jeff says Levis over JJ, and it's not even close. That is an interesting juxtaposition for Ohio State Big Ten Jeff to be in.
Yeah, well, lesser of two evils, I guess, here. Titans versus Michigan. And that's fair because the Titans haven't won, a title. Michigan did. But I still think that Levis is probably neck and neck with Drake May if they all come out together.
Okay. I tend to agree. I think Will Levis would have been a top 8 pick in the draft this year, knowing the Falcons went hell. I mean, the Titans could have picked him at 7 if that was the situation, right? So I think Levis would have been a top 8 pick this year, where he was a 33rd pick last year. So I think that makes a lot of sense overall. All right. I do have a quick question I want to ask you guys, because I am, before we get to the trivia to wrap up this Wednesday show, my quick question is, who do you guys want to see at OTAs today? Because I'm going to go out there at 11:25-ish is when practice begins. I've only got like 20 minutes of video. So opportunities. Last week, I spent about all of it watching the wide receivers, because it was the first time we got to see Calvin Ridley, the first time we get to see Ridley, Burks, and D-Hop all together. So I want to see what you guys are interested in. So please let me know what players you guys want to see, what position groups you guys want to see, because I'm going to have to use my time pretty wisely and bounce around more this week than I did a week ago. So please drop that in the chat. While you're doing that, hit that like button, please. So like the show. I'll say for the rookie mini camp that I was out there for, I spent all my time on offensive and defensive line. So I've been out for 2 practices, and I've only seen offensive line, defensive line, and wide receivers. So that feels strange that I haven't bounced around more, but the circumstances call for it. I did watch a little bit of running backs and quarterbacks along with wide receivers. That's kind of the nature of it. So, Jack, I'll let you go to the chat, but need people to like the show too, as they're dropping in players they want me to get out there and get video of.
Yeah, let's get to 100 people. Come on, like the show.
Come on. 100 on Facebook, like 30-something away. Come on. Facebook's slow today. That's okay.
Major Keys wants to see little Malik Willis today, Austin. Willie says L'Jarius Sneed.
I don't. You don't.
No, I think we've seen enough of Malik Willis. Ooh.
Somebody earlier, I think it was Rashid, said that he thinks Malik Willis is going to be QB2 today or this year. It's not going to happen. Mason Rudolph is so much better.
Mason Rudolph has won multiple games. I think he's a winning record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. So he's earned that number 2 job before he takes a snap in Tennessee. L'Jarius Sneed from Willie. We've got Devondre Sweat from Top Tier. Lou Man, Kiarge Jackson. Now, this is a guy I feel like a lot of Titans fans forgot about, but he was a kickoff returner last season before he got picked up a season-ending injury. Yeah. So Kiarge Jackson absolutely is a shot to win some playing time and some snaps in that regard. So Kiarge Jackson's one to watch for Lou Man. Tight ends from JR, Bertha from Bork, Sweat. We've got Chef Rand, who wants to see the running backs. Wiley versus Chiggs. Yeah.
The halfbacks.
I know. College football 2012 is coming out. So HB dive, HB counter, all that's coming back to our lives. So I'll give him a pass there. Let's see. Levis to the throwing to the receivers and the O-line. You got Burks, Defense, preferably sweat. A lot of sweat comments. CBs, Shrike wants Mason Kinsey. DBs, Chig, O-line, Caleb Farley, and Josh Wiley. NPF from Jeff. DBs, linebackers. The linebacker position is going to be an interesting one to watch throughout training camp.
Yeah, I will say I wish I could get better linebackers, but the way the practice fields are set up, the linebackers in the dead center. And so you have to do like full Bigfoot zoom to get any type of good video of linebackers. That's not going to turn out good because you have to zoom that thing in there quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So linebackers are just going to be tough overall.
I know. And really, for me, like, when I see line, I want to see them hit somebody, and they're not doing that right now.
Right.
Sean and Danny are both getting sweaty. Joey says cornerbacks. Ira Hoshi agrees. Cedric Gray, so another linebackers. Anthony Kendall, tight ends. Austin, what do you think you're going to end up doing today out there?
I don't know. I was going to ask you, like, you just read a bunch of comments. And so one, Jacob says kick and punt returns. We cannot video special team stuff. So I can't help you out there. But Jack, what do you think were the 3 most popular answers?
I would say
you read through all those comments. So I think that's kind of what I need to prioritize a top 3, because I think I can get 3 different position groups in the 20 to 25 minutes that I have allotted. Some of that's stretching too. So that's not even like, I got like maybe 12 minutes of actual drills. So I think 3 is the max, because I got knee tendonitis I've been telling you guys about. I can't run around like I used to at training camp and be the fastest media member out there to get everywhere. Somehow your Uncle Jim Wyatt is everywhere.
He's spry.
I know. He's crazy. The man's
very
nuts.
Spry. I think it's going to be a defensive heavy day out there. At least that's what the chat wants. I feel like linebackers, DBs, and Tavondre Sweat are the 3 big ones. And I'm with the chat on Tavondre Sweat. I want to see him every single time he's out there. I want to see what he looks like. I want to see him use his power. I mean, that's a unique talent that you have on your roster. That's a rare breed in Tavondre Sweat. So I can't get enough of him out there. I know I'm not going to be able to scratch that itch until probably, joint practices or preseason ball or even maybe the regular season. But I just want more out of Sweat. I want to see Sweat all the time. That's what I want to do.
All right. So, and I did see Paul Kalarski tweeted about an hour ago, right as we got going live here, that there is a chance for Tavondre Sweat to practice today. He was not out there last week, was rehabbing something. And then Jalen Duncan probably does not have a chance to go via Paul earlier this morning. So here's what I think I can do. If I do the D-line, I can get the O-line because they're right next to each other. Okay. I think the hard thing is getting O-line, D-line, and defensive backs. That's the longest route from one position group to the other. So I think I can go O-line, D-line, and then on the way, hit tight ends, receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs as I work my way back. If I do that, DBs are out. If I start with the DBs, O-line, D-line's out. So I think I'll have to start O-line, D-line. That's what it sounds like.
You get the most bang for your buck with those 2 position groups. And Denise brings up a guy. I didn't see Raiden's name in the chat. Raiden's is one of the most interesting players leading up to this season that the Titans have on their roster, just because, he could fit in at 2 different spots on that offensive line. So I'm interested to see how they use him. I'm interested to see what he looks like. I've heard he looks a whole lot better this offseason. But, that's kind of the word around town with just about every single player in the NFL right now, that they're in the best shape of their lives. So I want to see Raidens, though. I really have high hopes for him this year. I'm hoping he can lock down a starting spot. So the Titans can get a little return on their investment with that 2nd-round pick that they spent on him.
All right. So Orlando says, Austin, just take the long walk and get those steps in. It's not about it's about time. It's about time. I run on the practice field. I'm like Tom Brady. I'm out there running, but it's about time to get the video. And so I think Lou Man says you got a plan in place. Jody asks, so why ask? I asked because I learned that you guys want to see a lot of O-line, D-line, and so that's where I'll start. So I'll start O-line, D-line, and work my way all the way down in like the 15 minutes max of drills that I'll be able to watch out there. So that works. I like this exercise. Lou Man says I'm fast. I can be at times. I can be. All right. Not as fast right now. All right. Jack, it is now time to get to that time on Wednesday to wrap the show up with some sports trivia. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. Jack jumping the gun there on Wednesday. Ooh.
Gotta get that money.
Check them out online for your next car buying process. All right, now we can go to the trivia graphic here, Jack, as we get this thing flipped around here. Or now we're waiting on Jack's screen to pop up here. There we go. All right, a little clunky. That's okay. Holiday weekend, feeling slow. All right. So, and then Rashid asks, who's the fastest on A to Z's roster?
That's a good question.
Sam will say Sam, but Sam's also got 10 years on me. And so it's probably Sam because he's the young.
I'd say Sam. I'm lacking enough cartilage in my right knee to really be a threat in that competition.
All right, so we're going rapid fire. So here's what we're doing. NFL's first, snacks and candy second, history is third, thanks to Jeff in Orlando. So that's our top three. And then we're going to go movies. So NFL, snacks and candy, history, movies. So Jack, NFL, we go.
Rapid NFL. Fire. All right, here we go. Hall of Fame linebacker Mike Singletary was the head coach of this
San Francisco 49ers.
That's right. That's right. Movies?
Snacks and candy.
Snacks and candy. This thicker version of Reese's Cup launched in 2003 and now has variations with potato chips, pieces, pretzels, and more. Thicker version of a Reese's Cup.
What?
Potato chips, pieces, pretzels, and more. Huh.
Big cup? Big cup? The big cup. Big cup.
Big cup.
Big cup.
Big cup.
Okay. History.
Serving from 1993 to 2020, this American lawyer and jurist was the second woman to ever be appointed to the Supreme Court.
Oh, crap.
Is that
what's her name?
RBG?
Yeah, it's got to be RBG. Yeah. Ruth Bader
there we go.
Ginsburg. Boom.
3 for 3.
Movies.
Tobey Maguire and Jeff Bridges starred in this 2003 horse racing film that earned a Best Picture Oscar nomination.
Is this Seabiscuit?
I don't remember who was in Seabiscuit.
I think it's got to be Seabiscuit. That's about the same time that Seabiscuit came out.
Okay. All right, we're going to run Seabiscuit. I feel like the chat's just going to be uninvolved here.
Mark has Seabiscuit and had Seabiscuit. All right, next, music.
Known for a lip-syncing scandal, this Germany R&B act had 3 #1 hits in 1989 with Blame It on the Rain, Girl, I'm Gonna Miss You, and Baby, Don't Forget My Number.
I don't know this one.
Germany R&B act.
Yeah, that threw me off, man. Milli Vanilli, Roderick, and Matt. Milli Vanilli. LLIE, yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, here you go.
There it is. There you go.
Got it.
Ooh, television.
Before This Is Us, Milo Ventimiglia had a lead role in this cult favorite NBC series that ran from 2006 to 2010 and featured Hayden Panettiere. Is this
it's not Nashville.
Nash? No,
because that's too early for Nashville. Ann says Heroes. Matt says Heroes.
Heroes.
Got
it.
Ooh, NHL.
Ovechkin finally got to go to a Stanley Cup after the Capitals defeated this team in the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals in 7 games. Eastern Conference team.
I want to say the Islanders.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I don't know if it's Matt says Lightning. Let's see if anybody else. Rangers. It's east. Boston. We're all over the damn place.
Remember, if you actually know it, put it in parentheses that you know it.
We got multiple Bostons and multiple Penguins. Matt says book it for Tampa Bay. Let's go Lightning.
Huge.
Yes. MLB.
After debuting in 2013, this starting pitcher had 2 top 3 Cy Young finishes as he came in third with Oakland in 2015 and was the runner-up in Minnesota in 2020. That's Sonny Gray, Vandy legend.
Sonny Gray. All right, celebrity mashup.
Here we go. This is where the money's made.
Oh,
man.
Is that? I think I know this, but I don't know their names off the top of my head. Oh crap! Who's Daniel Day-Lewis?
I don't know who that is, really. I've heard the name, obviously.
Maggie Gyllenhaal for sure. Maggie Gyllenhaal is the middle. So
let's start with her.
Yes, it's absolutely Maggie Gyllenhaal. You had it right there.
Okay.
And then the outside.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yes, that's
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Gordon-Levitt. I always get him and Daniel Day-Lewis because the 3 names. But that's it. That's got to be it. Hit it.
Boom! 90.
Oh, look at that 90.
Oh my! I don't think we've ever done better than 18.
No, that was insane.
Wow, what a win. What a dub. W's in the chat. Let's go.
Yo.
90.
I don't think we're
4 minutes and 7. We were pushing it too.
Ooh. That was huge.
You let me know when I'm ready to come back in. Oh, okay. I feel like I'm in the graphic here. Yeah, 90 is a record score, I think.
It is a record score. So for record score, we got a little 40% off all the merch at shop.A2ZSportsNashville.com. We're almost out of our merch. We're almost out of it because we got it discounted to 40%. So we're getting close to being out of that merch right there. So check that out. Shop.A2ZSportsNashville.com. Whew. All right. Jacob.
That was awesome.
That was I feel like I need a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes. Jacob says, I'm proud to be a part of this historic event.
I mean, we needed the chat big time there.
And Blue Man says, I smell Google. Nobody had time to Google anything about that.
4 minutes. You don't have, right? You got to answer 9 questions, right? The lightning one. Oh my, that almost got us. Who came through with that? You said Matt?
That was Matt. I believe Matt. Yes.
Clutch, Matt. That was so clutch. That could have been anybody. Penguins are obviously the kind of the public answer, I feel like, for a question like that. But
yeah, that was
good work.
So we got to remember, 4:07 is our time to beat. 4 minutes, 7 seconds. Damn.
That was fun.
That was insane. All right, guys. David says, sorry, I was late for work. You just missed the best trivia we have ever done. And yeah, Sean says, laugh at Sam for missing this moment. Laugh at him. Laugh at Sam for missing this historic moment on A to Z.
He'll come for that record, though.
Oh, yeah, which is great.
That's just the start.
Yes. Whew. Man, I feel like you and I, a lot of that was in our wheelhouse, like the Sonny Gray answer. Like the fact that you're a Vandy baseball fan and I played high school football against Sonny Gray lined up perfectly.
That was great. I can't believe he was included. That's so random.
That was,
Wow. Yeah. So next goal, get under 4 minutes. I think that's got to be our next goal.
Yeah. Under a 4-minute mile. That's right. Man,
it's going to be so tough.
4:07. Hell of a performance by everybody. Because there was a couple that Jack and I were not sure of, and you guys came in quick. That's one of those things where when we start trivia, you have to hit the refresh button on your YouTube or your Facebook so you can get up to speed and not get left behind. Sometimes that weird stuff happens. Whew. All right, that's it for us today. I'll be out at Titans practice. I'm going to start O-line, D-line, and make my way down for you guys. Content will be out there around 12:45 and throughout the afternoon, so get ready for that. And make sure you hit that like button. Historic day on A to Z Sports with that 4:07 trivia time. So hit the like button. We appreciate that greatly on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning reacting to OTA practice, and appreciate it as always.
Tighten Up Pod out now.